On the injury front, Chris Hubbard has that knee injury. He'll miss significant time, so he'll be out this week, and then more updates pending. Sheldon Richardson with the neck injury should be okay. Andrew Sendejo is progressing through the concussion protocols, and then Wyatt Teller is really still week to week. So we'll kind of take it as this week progresses, but I'd say he's unlikely for this week. Talking about last night, like we talked about last night, maybe it was this morning, I can't remember. Really good team effort across the board. I thought the guys played really hard, and I was proud of them for that. I think offensively, singling guys out, I thought, like we talked about, Baker was really, really sharp. Nick Harris going in there on the second play and performing at a high level. If it's possible, I wasn't surprised by that. And then defensively, I thought Karl Joseph really played well, making a lot of tackles. He ran our punt team for the first time with Sendejo being out. He recovered an onside kick, so he made a big impact last night for us to get that victory. With that, I will take any questions.
Thank you, Coach. The first one will go to Nate Ulrich.
Hey, Coach. Is Hubbard going to be out for the season then? Significant time. You only have a couple games left.
I think we'll see, Nate. I'm not ready to go that far, but he will be out this week.
Okay, and you don't know, do you know whether he needs surgery then?
I don't have the answer to that just yet.
Okay, and then with Teller likely out against the Jets, I know Nick Harris was the guy who stepped in during the game. Would Nick Harris be your right guard?
Yes.
Okay. After getting to look at the film, what did you think of Nick jumping in there in a pinch?
Yeah, did his job, played hard. Simon Sound, got people on the ground. Really pleased with how he performed.
Thank you, Nate. Scott Petrick is next. We'll go to Steve Dorshik.
Coach, in terms of showing good focus and poise in a game against a team with a losing record, I mean, obviously you had that yesterday, but now against the Jets, of course they beat the Rams, but still they aren't having a good season. And I guess the question is, do you know by now that your team doesn't assume too much? Then whether it's a team that's 1-14 or anybody else, your team will have good focus, or is it something you really have to harp on?
Steve, I would just tell you, we're just getting started on the preparation for the Jets, but I have watched the game from yesterday. And when our players see that tape, they'll understand the challenge that is in front of us. They play I'm sorry?
Yes, sorry, Kev. Yeah, I'm just asking you to morph into how focused your team has been on a regular basis this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. All that preparation that goes into the work week, it's important to understand your job, understand your opponent and all of that. And then on top of that, you got to block out anything that's going on around you. So I think the guys have done a nice job of that, and they have to continue to do that.
Thank you, Steve. Now we'll go to Scott Petrick.
Sorry, Kevin, my internet cut out there. I wanted to ask you first, Ronnie Harrison, is there any chance he comes off IR this week?
We'll see. I can't comment on that yet, but we'll see.
Okay. And with Baker, we've seen such a jump in his completion percentage lately. Like, what factors do you credit for the increase in accuracy?
I think he's accurate. Completion percentage is not a perfect stat to tell the whole story. So I think number one, we didn't have any drops last night. We had some contested catches, so that plays into it. Teams playing big zone where you're working the underneath zones at a high clip plays into that. We've seen over the course of a bunch of ball games, he's fit the ball into tight windows. I think at Jarvis's touchdown last night. So it's an all-encompassing stat that really is a team stat between Baker and the guys on the receiving end.
Do you think he's thrown it more accurately, though, just based on him?
Yeah, I'd have to really study it, Scott, for over the course of the season. But I think that is one of his strong suits is his accuracy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Marla Ridenour will have our next question.
Yeah, Coach. One quick thing before I forget. Jarvis said he didn't know if Harris had ever practiced at guard. I mean, I assume that was the case, but does it go back to like training camp or how far has it? I mean, are you working him in there a few snaps a week? How does it work?
Well, Jarvis doesn't pay a lot of attention to the interior of the offensive line's rotation. So, yeah, we work him in there.
And what did you think of his taunting penalty? Did you get a chance to look at the TV copy?
The TV copy isn't in there yet. I will look at it, but, I'll stick with what I told you guys last night. You can't hurt the team.
And one more quick thing. I know Phillips didn't play a lot of snaps, but how did he look?
Yeah, he was active, physical around the ball, never perfect. He's a young pup, and he's getting better with each rep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marla. Jeff Shadell, you're up.
Kevin, I'm going to ask you about Jarvis Landry. His resurgence here, is it more than just him being healthy, or what has all gone into that?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think there's one answer to that, Jeff. I think his health certainly plays a factor into it. I just think the games and how they've unfolded has obviously played a factor. And he's a very reliable target for the quarterback. Again, I'll point to the touchdown catch. He's covered, and Baker makes a great throw, and Jarvis makes a great catch, a strong catch. He made a strong catch on the seam route later in the game. So I just see a very dependable player. But to comment on resurgence, I'd be giving you an incomplete answer without studying the whole thing.
Thank you, Jeff. We'll go to Mary Kay Cabot.
Hey, Coach, I don't mean to drop something on you that was tweeted out probably while you were sitting here, but NFL Network is reporting that Chris Hubbard is having surgery this week to repair torn ligaments in his knee, and that the kneecap was dislocated and the procedure will repair the associated damage. So can you update us on that, if that's actually what's happening?
Yeah, I'll wait to give a complete update, Mary Kay. But like I said before, significant time. I should mention Hub has given us great reps, not good reps, great reps as a versatile player. He's an outstanding teammate. So we'll miss him in the time that he misses. But in terms of the whole picture of the injury, I'll wait to put out something official.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mary Kay. Dan Lobby, you're up.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask about Jarvis too, and kind of how you guys use him. You use him in so many different ways, pre-snap and line him up all over the place. How important is his versatility to kind of what you guys are trying to do?
Yeah, Dan, it's hugely important. And I think to have a versatile player at that position that you can move around speaks to his skill set, but I also think it speaks to his intelligence. He's a guy that can handle that. There's some guys that wouldn't be able to handle moving around the formation, lining them up in the backfield, those type of things. So I think you see a veteran player that is very, very smart, understands the game. So it gives me great confidence as we design plays and game plans to move him around the formation.
Were you aware of the amount of versatility he had before you kind of got your hands on him?
No, I didn't have a ton of familiarity with him. You study the tape and you see what you see, but until you're around guys and at practice and talking to them and seeing how they see things, that's so valuable to me and our offensive staff and understanding how we can use them.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. We'll go back to Nate Ulrich.
Hey, Kevin, I know you mentioned Karl Joseph. Can you just kind of dive in a little bit on, if you think this was his best performance that he's given you guys and what he did so well for you?
Yeah, he played well last night. Made a lot of tackles, made plays on the football that we needed him to make. Again, running the punt team is no small feat. And I know it was only 3 reps, but he had never done it in his career. He took it very seriously, spent extra time with Preef to make sure he knew, the whole operation. And then to make a play on the hands team, we've had a lot of moments in hands, and to have guys continually coming away with that ball is a very big deal.
And Sheldrick Redwine obviously stepped in for Sendejo. How did Sheldrick play overall?
Yeah, I thought Sheldrick played well also. Solid tackling. A lot of times at that safety position, you got to be the eraser and get the guy on the ground and let's not make a bad play worse. And I thought Sheldrick did a nice job of that. Had a big play there on that 4th down play hitting the running back with a high surface tackle and knocking him back.
And one last thing, when you said Richardson should be okay, Sheldon Richardson should be okay, you think he'll be able to practice and everything this week for you?
I don't know that yet, Nate, but I think long term, I think he'll be okay.
Thank you, Nate. Tony Grossi, you're next.
One quickie first. What's the domino effect at guard? Who's your backup?
We'll work through that. I think Michael Dunn is ready to play a versatile role for us. He does a great job out here at practice. We move him all over the line as well. So he's one guy, but we'll work through all the roster moves this week.
And, Myles Garrett has really talked about the difficulties he's had overcoming the virus, and he was hacking yesterday to us and in the locker room, he said. Do you think he needs some time off, at least during the practice week? Will you ease up a little? Are you concerned at all about things like that?
Well, we're mindful of that, Tony, as and have been mindful of that since he's been back. He's cleared to play. He's working through it. He's battling through it, and we have been smart about it. We'll continue to be smart to monitor him and make sure that he's at 100%.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. PJ Ziegler has our next question.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Kevin. Coach, when you have a team like the New York Jets that you're preparing for now, coming off a win like they had, I know you always like to get off to a fast start. How much more imperative is it to get off to a fast start to put any doubt that they may have in their mind that they're going to pull another upset, on a team that looking to go to the playoffs?
PJ, we try to get off to a fast start every week. It doesn't always happen. We went turned the ball over on downs in our first drive last night. So it's always a focus for us. We try to practice fast and start fast at practice and think that carries over to the game. So it'll always be a focus for us. But again, I'll talk more about the Jets on Wednesday, but my initial peek at that game from yesterday, that's a team that plays really, really hard.
And real quick, I know that you're focused on just the game in front of you and the game ahead of you, but will you scoreboard watch at all on Sunday, especially if you guys get out to a lead, knowing what could be at stake with the victory and some other situations?
No, I'll look at the scoreboard of the Browns versus the Jets.
Thank you.
Thank you, PJ. Back to Scott Petrick.
Hey, Kevin, obviously you're so focused on 1 week at a time. I'm curious, are you having fun? Are you able to enjoy this ride as it goes along?
Yeah, the fun in this business is winning, Scott. So, we enjoy it. I promise you, our staff, our players enjoy it. That feeling in that locker room is hard to replace. And then quickly, win, lose, or draw, you got to get over it because there's a lot of work to go into it.
And did you see the shout out from LeBron on Twitter to you?
I did not.
I think he said, look out for Kevin Stefanski or something. There's a shot, or maybe just shout out to Kevin Stefanski. He's pretty big around here.
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Fred Greetham, you're up.
Hey, Coach, can you talk a little about the tight end room? I think you had 8 catches and 82 yards and a touchdown. It seemed like Hooper, and they all made some big plays and were pretty involved for you.
Yeah, I thought those guys were pretty good last night. They all play a role. We're moving them around, putting them in different spots. Obviously, Baker has great trust in all 3 of those guys. So they've proven to give us a bunch of valuable reps here this season.
Thank you, Fred. Doug Maurice has our next question.
Hey, Kevin, I know you've been asked questions like this about Jarvis in the past, but when you have any player that you've been around that is passionate and that has that, how does that tangibly affect the rest of a team? Does it spread if you have a guy who seemingly just has that in him?
Yeah, it can be infectious. His nickname's Juice. So especially in a stadium with no people in there, which is strange. We knew that we were going to have to BYO, and I thought Jarvis is a player that the guys feed off of his energy, and we'll have to continue to do that this week as well.
Do most teams need at least one guy like that? I mean, maybe you don't want 85 guys like that or 53 guys like that. Does that help if you have a guy? It just seems like it's very obvious with Jarvis about how much he cares about stuff.
Yeah, you just hope everybody's being themselves, and I can promise you Jarvis is being himself. So I think that's what the guys feed off of more than anything.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Tony Grossi is next.
Kevin, you talked about practicing fast, getting fast starts, and offensively, you've mostly been a pedal to the metal team most of the games. When you have an 8-minute drive like you did later in the game, I don't imagine you practice 8-minute drives. Does it take a different mentality during the course of a game, and is it difficult at all to do that?
I think it's probably hardest on the offensive line because you're subbing in running backs, tight ends, wide receivers. On defense, they're waving in defensive linemen. So those are the guys that don't get subs. So on long drives, it's great to see those guys fighting and straining and finishing. And for us to finish, I don't know if it was that particular drive, Tony, but for us to finish with a Nick Chubb touchdown where it was just your basic goal line play and knocking people back, I thought that was really a great reflection on the offensive line.
And how about you as the play caller? Is it difficult to throttle down when necessary?
I don't think so. I'm just trying to put our guys in position to make plays. And I'm very, very lucky in the offensive staff that we have. We have great dialogue throughout the game, great dialogue throughout the drive. So I'm fortunate.
Thanks.
Thank you, Tony. We'll take two more. Nate Ulrich, Scott Petrick. Nate, go ahead.
Kevin, I know this isn't your top focus or priority, but tonight the Pro Bowl rosters are being announced. Are you eager to see which guys get recognition on your team? Is there anybody in particular you're pulling for?
Nate, I want our guys to have individual success. I want the accolades for all of them. I know we have plenty of guys that are deserving, but at the end of the day, I think those guys understand that those individual accolades really are a reflection of their teammates of this team. So ultimately, that's what we're about here, but doesn't mean I don't hope for our guys to be recognized.
Thank you, Nate. And the final question to Scott Petrick.
Hey, Kevin, what does Mack Wilson need to do to get back in the rotation?
We'll see how it goes this week. Nothing that anybody else has to do. Practice hard, be ready to go.